Welcome back, everybody, to more from the Sableyes. I'm here today with Jordan. How's it going, Jordan?
Pretty well, thank you.
That is good, and today we're going to look at something that Jordan has made for us all. Obviously, with our success with Gardevoir, Henry building his own list, Jordan decided that he wanted to get in on the action as well, and so we have built, well, I'm not going to say we, Jordan has built Dugtrio.
It wasn't my first pick, but it's all I could come up with. And you asked me to build a deck, this is what you get.
This is what we've got. So if you're looking to play an Ultra Rogue deck, then this possibly could be for you. But it's actually quite funny, because Dugtrio isn't even that bad. Like, home ground, 30 plus 60 if you have any Stadium card in play. That's 90 with the Choice Band's 120. That knocks out two of the big three Pokemon in the format at the moment.
Well, yeah, when we look at the decks that we want to beat right now, most of them happen to be weak to fighting, and even if they're not weak to fighting, Dugtrio is probably just going to take a half hit on pretty much anything in the format. So you're either taking one hit on big meta-relevant Pokemon, or you're just taking a two hit against almost anything else.
Yeah, so it's an interesting one, and the good thing about Dugtrio being a fighting type is that there's lots of ways that we can increase its damage. We're playing one copy of Diancie. Princess's Cheers means there's 20 extra damage, so now you're doing 110, which is pretty good. We also have a copy of Baby Buzzwole with Sledgehammer, because as we've got another way of doing 120, this card doesn't need to have a Stadium in play, so that's also a good option. And we are using Jirachi to help ourselves find some of the items which are going to help us increase our damage down the track.
What's important about Jirachi in this deck is, as we've already mentioned, you really need to have a Stadium card in play pretty much every turn of the game. And your opponent's going to be trying to replace your Stadium whenever they can, realistically. So Jirachi is just going to be that consistent way to find Stadium cards throughout the game, because we really need to make sure they stick.
Certainly do. Mew, obviously a staple card, since its release bench barrier is going to stop our little baby Dugtrios getting doinked every turn. We don't want that to happen. But apart from that, we'll have a look at the rest of the cards. Now, we've got, I'll start with Martial Arts Dojo, because we're not going to be able to play with it today. PTCGO has banned the card because there's obviously some interaction that is broken with this particular Stadium. But in real life, we would probably play it. It means that any basic fighting energy attached to non-Ultra Beast Pokemon increase the amount of damage you're doing by 10. So instead of doing 90, you're doing 100 with Dugtrio, which means that you're going to be able to stack that damage a little bit nicer. And if you're behind, then instead of doing a 10 extra damage, you do 40 extra, which is going to turn, rather, 90 damage is going to turn into 130. With things like Choice Band, Kukui, and Diancie, we can start to get some pretty high numbers.
This is definitely the biggest buff that fighting decks got from the most recent set, and even though it doesn't interact with Baby Buzz, which is a little unfortunate, probably a good thing in my eyes overall, Baby Buzz is still an exceptional attacker, so still worth playing in this deck, obviously, but Martial Arts Dojo is really the star Stadium we want to have in play for most of the game when we're using Dugtrio.
Yeah, I mean, if it interacted with Baby Buzzwole, then we would probably just be playing Baby Buzzwole, right?
Probably.
Yeah.
Probably just Baby Buzz.
Like, it would probably be fine. We also, because we need Stadiums for Dugtrio, we have 2 copies of Brooklet Hill. Brooklet Hill is going to be able to find almost all of our Pokemon, barring Jirachi and Mew, so that seems like a pretty good option. Unfortunately today, since we can't play our Martial Arts Dojo, we're going to be adding in 3 copies of Shrine of Punishment instead. Shrine of Punishment, not necessarily the best option. Martial Arts Dojo is going to do that better, but it at least gives us something else that we can do when we need a high counter Stadiums as well.
Well, the Shrine of Punishment actually has a very similar purpose to this, in that if we're ahead in the game, then it's going to give us 10 extra damage, obviously only against GX Pokemon, but the Shrine can stack if it stays in play for long enough, deal a lot of damage around the board, so there are definitely situations where the Shrine can be better. I think we'll be able to make do with it.
Yeah, we should be okay. The rest of the item line is relatively similar to most Jirachi lists that you would see. We've got 4 copies of Ultra Ball. We need to be able to find Dugtrio as well as all of our other Pokemon. We can do that with Nest Ball, 3 copies of that. And 2 copies of Rescue Stretcher. Since we've got a Stage 1 attacker that is going to be knocked out pretty regularly, Dugtrio only has 90 HP, we're going to need to shuffle those boys in quite a lot.
Yeah, the 3 copies of Nest Ball is just simply because this deck's already playing 2 copies of Brooklet Hill, and that effectively just means you're playing 5 copies of Nest Ball. Brooklet can't get Jirachi, Nest Ball can, so you definitely want to have more Nest Ball than Brooklet, but overall, I think the 5 split seems like it's going to be enough to get our basics into play.
Yeah, we should be okay. We've got 1 copy of Energy Spinner. We're going to be able to use this card to find basic energy, and if we're lucky enough to go second and have it in our hand on our first turn, then we can get 3 basic instead of 1. But obviously, just the ability to search for that 1 energy card is pretty good.
I don't think it would really matter too much if it had that additional effect of getting extra basic energy. We're not often going to need that many basic energy in our hand, but it's mainly just there to give us a chance of finding an energy with a Jirachi. Yeah,
it's going to be a pretty good option. And since we're running Jirachi, we've got the solid package of Switch, 3 copies of that, and 2 copies of a skateboard, so that we can get them out of the active. Down here, we've got 4 copies of Choice Band. There's a big number, because we are going to be trying to buff our damage from our Dugtrio as much as we can. Obviously 120 is the number to hit on things like PikaRom and Zoroark, so Choice Band will help us do that without any other modifiers.
I feel like Choice Band is a card you basically want to have on your active Pokemon every single turn of the entire game, so if we could play more than 4 Choice Band, it wouldn't even be that far-fetched to include that, but I think 4 is probably the perfect number.
Yeah, it seems like it's going to be pretty good. I'll have a look at our supporters now. We've got 1 copy of Cynthia and 4 copies of Lily. Lily, obviously, to get us set up early, but Cynthia in a low count, because with this deck we kind of want to keep a big hand, Jordan, because we've got 3 copies of Professor Kukui that we want to be able to get into whenever we need them.
The Professor Kukui does allow us to get those 2 hits or even 1 hit KOs even easier, doing 120 damage with a Choice Band, 140 with a Diancie. It can get up to 160 with Kukui. It gets pretty high pretty quickly, and that's before we include the maps from our Shrine or Fighting Dojo. And of course, the draw 2 cards just synergize as well with Jirachi. We'll eventually be able to build up a pretty big hand with this and give ourselves lots of options.
Certainly will, and we also have the option when we fall behind to use Lieutenant Surge's strategy. This way we can kind of stack Kukuis up if we need to, especially against big GX Pokemon like Reshiram, Charizard, where we probably wouldn't be able to hit them consistently for a 2-hit unless we are able to play multiple copies of things like Kukui. So it's a decent option, and we're going to fall behind a lot. So
quite potentially.
So I think it's going to be okay.
The double Professor Kukui is the main combo that comes to mind with this card, but maybe Professor Kukui plus Guzma is also a pretty spicy combo that you don't really see too often, so I'll be looking forward to what we can pull off with this card.
We'll see what happens. Apart from that, we've got the 4 copies of Guzma, which you mentioned. We've got a lot of them because we want to be taking knockouts on specific targets, and hopefully we play PikaRom or Zoroark so we can show it off, because I feel like if we don't play those, we're going to be in a bit of trouble. And 9 copies of Fighting Energy.
Yeah, seems like a potentially high count of Fighting Energy, but we really can't afford to miss them.
I'm in the wrong place.
The trainers.
I'm in the wrong place. 3 copies of Shrine. Sorry, I interrupted you there.
That's alright, I was just saying that 9 Energy's basically is there to make sure we don't miss them, because unlike a Zapdos deck, we can't really get them back.
We cannot, so here we go. Playing Dugtrio.
How you feeling? You confident?
No.
No confidence in my deck building abilities.
You'll see in the bottom left there, my win streak's on 6, so I imagine that after this game it'll be on naught. We are playing water, so we're not playing either of the good decks that we are looking for. It might be something like Blastoise, which could be interesting, but that's okay.
Well, Blastoise does have 240 HP, but it's actually a pretty annoying Pokemon to 2-hit KO, because each time you attack it, it reduces 30 damage. So definitely a matchup where we would wish to have access to our Fighting Dojos, but hey, Shrine of Punishment isn't too bad either.
Shrine will be fine, so we probably just put a Choice Band on, we'll Energy Spin.
Probably only get 1 energy off of this, as I said, that's all you really need to get.
That's all we need. We might even chuck down the Shrine just to get some Lily value. See what happens. We've got a Jirachi and a Switch, so we can start setting ourselves up here.
And also a Nest Ball is not a bad card to have. We can get either another Diglett or a Diancie. Both are fine.
I think that we probably grab the Diancie.
Well, as long as you're confident that Diglett's not going to get
We'll get a
knocked out next
Diglett.
time.
We'll get a Diglett.
I don't think it's going to be, but
we'll get a Diglett. We'll play it safe. We could have played down the Buzzwole to have an attacker, but that's okay. We'll just still wish into something next turn, and we'll be fine.
Yep, all you need is access to a Dugtrio, so we'll be hoping to Stellar Wish into an Ultra Ball And that is why we are playing 4 copies of Ultra Ball and not Nest Ball, because Dugtrio is actually the hardest Pokemon to find in this deck.
Yes, it certainly is, because we can't use Brooklet to get it, we can't use Nest Ball, so we have to use something else. Heartbreak from our opponent. Oh, we've got ourselves an opportunity. The streak might continue, but we still have to find everything.
Well, we need to Dugtrio. We are holding Professor Kukui, so Buzzwole plus Kukui would be 50 damage, but that's not quite enough.
Oh no, we're gonna have to go with the second Jirachi.
That's alright, that's alright. We've also got Professor Kukui, we can just draw the Dugtrio.
Oh no.
I'm not worried yet, Mitch, I'm not worried.
I'm very frightened. Oh no.
It's a
What
Nest
are we
Ball.
gonna do?
We're gonna play Nest Ball, get a Diancie,
Yep.
and a Kukui, and we're gonna kill them with Buzzwole, because I only just realised we can do that.
Oh yeah, fair enough. Except we still need an energy.
Oh yeah, we don't have an energy for Buzzwole. That's alright, we're playing the Professor Kukui. We'll draw an energy or a Dugtrio or an Ultra Ball.
How confident are you?
I'm so confident. Look at this.
We did it.
We got
Okay.
energy with Buzzwole.
We can attack. Oh my goodness, that was almost incredibly embarrassing. We couldn't even get a donk. Oh boy. Well, 7 games.
Yep.
That's the end of the video. I'm not willing to risk this anymore. That's alright. We'll keep going. We'll try and play one more. Hopefully we come up against PikaRom.
Well, look at this. You got a fighting.
That's a
daily
fighting challenge. I didn't even realise. This is perfect. Everything's coming up Millhouse.
You got to deal 1,000 damage. That'll be easy in this
Oh,
next game.
Dugtrio is going to do so much damage. You have no idea. Come on.
And that win streak is going up. It's not just Scarlet White. It's Dugtrio as well.
Dugtrio is the unspoken best deck in format.
Of course.
We'll see how we go. Oh, this could be it. It's
I can see
dark
dark
and lightning.
and lightning.
It could be either of them.
Maybe it's both.
Maybe it's both. Maybe together. It's both together.
I'd be surprised if it was both.
Oh, you never know. Stranger things have happened.
Maybe.
No, not really. I was just kind of... if it's Zoroark, we've got ourselves a decent chance to get started. We'll actually be able to see what they've got here because they've given us a mulligan. So it's Zoroark.
Definitely Zoroark something.
Here we go. We can play the game, and we're going to have ourselves an extra card. And it's a Lily, so that's good.
It's a very good card.
That's an excellent one. I feel like we get rid of the Kukui.
Yeah, probably not. Gonna
Not
do extra
required,
damage too
and
much.
or
maybe
maybe
the Surge, because I feel like
that's fair.
we're
We're going to be
need it.
in a position to go in front pretty early.
I like the idea of grabbing Jirachi.
I
It's
think
just
so as
always
well.
safe to have one of those in play at all times.
And we can't search it with Brooklet Hill if we do end up having that.
Also
I'm going to put
correct.
these things down here and then Lily away. See what we get. There's the Brooklet Hill that we were mentioning.
We'll
So
certainly chuck that down. If it doesn't get replaced, we'll be able to get at least 2 Pokemon out of it, and there are at least 2 Pokemon I'm going to want to get. One of them being that, one of them being Diancie.
I kind of feel like Diancie's the way to go because what are the chances of them being able to knock us out this turn?
Oh, not high, but we don't really need the Diancie until next turn, regardless.
Yeah, that's true. That is true.
So I feel a little safer with the Diglett here.
Yeah, that seems good. We're fine. We've got ourselves a reasonable setup, I suppose. We've got the one Cynthia in hand, so we can always shuffle draw if we need to. And if the Brooklet stays, then we can search. Oh, they're playing Rockruff. Oh dear.
Zoroark, Lycanroc. I don't think this is too bad a matchup for us. We should be able to pick off Zoroark fairly reliably. 1 energy attack for a
knockout.
KO on a Zoroark seems good to me, and we're probably going to be able to just take out the Zoroark in the active position right now if they don't move it out the way.
That is presuming that, of course, we are able to find a Dugtrio, but we should be okay.
I'm not worried.
I'm always worried. I'm always worried. There's a Tapu Lele going back into the deck with Pokecoms to grab Type Null, another Fighting Weak Pokemon. So we could be in with a shot here. All we need is a Dugtrio.
There's 3 in deck. I'm guessing there's at least a couple Ultra Balls. So I'm guessing we're just gonna. I don't think we play the Shrine. I think we just want to keep that.
Yeah, I think we're fine. What I'm gonna do, I'm gonna put the Jirachi down.
Yeah, maybe attach the choice.
Yeah,
band.
put that down onto this, and then Cynthia away.
Yeah, I don't think it's too big a deal if those get filled a lot away. Dugtrio should be able to get the knockout regardless.
And here is the Dugtrio. We are in absolutely no stress at all. I might hang on to those things in our hand, and we'll just home ground for knockout. And that's a big 220.
And what does our opponent do from here? Because, I mean, they're going to want to bring something out to knock out this Dugtrio, but without any energy in play, Lycanroc probably isn't attacking this turn. They're probably going to have to use a Zoroark or Silvally, and with that Diglett on the bench, all we need is a Dugtrio to return hit KO either one of them.
That is true, and there's part of me that kind of just wants to Guzma out that Rockruff and kill it, because that's the only thing we can't one-shot in this deck, but obviously getting judged here means that we'll have a fresh set of cards to play with, and we can actually still have the option there, but...
We have Guzma and Ultra Ball, which are the two most important cards, and we also have Stadium in play, because that's the one thing we need to find if they are able to replace our Stadium.
No Stadium here, so we are going to be able to get ourselves another Diglett, and attack with Dugtrio. I think we probably just take the knockout.
Yeah, as tempting as it is to promote Jirachi, Steloish, Guzma kill that Rockruff, the fact that they've got a 3-card hand and only one Zoroark in play, it's just too tempting to take this KO with Dugtrio.
That's true, and we don't even need to Ultra Ball, we can just Rescue Stretcher to grab it back.
Perfect.
So
we'll
we
probably need to save the second Rescue Stretcher for Shuffle, I imagine, but for the time being, it's working out pretty well for us.
This seems perfectly fine, and I'll attach the other energy down to this Diglett, and then bang, home ground. Another 280 damage.
That's a lot of damage.
That's a lot. We're going to get to that 1,000 damage very quickly.
If they keep putting Zoroarks down, I would
Tell you
say
what.
so.
Tell you what.
In fact, if we wanted to really go hard for it, we could kill that Grimer next turn.
Yes.
Because Grimer is actually a little scary with this. Jirachi and Diancie would be blocked.
That is true. We'll see what happens. They're going to get another knockout here and give themselves another prize. But hey, we've got the Diglett. So the question is now, do we want to kill the Grimer or do we want to just take another prize?
I mean, it's too tempting to just knock out this Zoroark, right? We said the same thing last turn, but
they've still got to get another Zoroark.
Yeah, I feel like we just bring out Dugtrio, Diglett, Ultra Ball for Dugtrio, and then
away we go.
Take another 2 prize cards. It is potentially a little risky, but that Kikui actually helps us quite a bit here. It gives us some card draw.
Part of me wants to get rid of this Ultra Ball, but I know that we need it for next turn.
Maybe
get rid of the Shrine or the Guzma.
I mean, it's risky discarding 2 stadiums because we do need to replace a stadium if they get rid of ours. So it's either the Ultra Ball or the Guzma in my.
I think we're going to get rid of the Guzma.
Seems fair.
What was I getting? Dugtrio.
Yeah, don't forget that.
Don't stuff that.
And is there a Diglett in deck that we can Brooklet for?
There is not, but there's a Buzzwole.
This actually wouldn't have been a bad turn to go for Buzzwole, but that's alright, we've got Dugtrio anyway.
Well, the funny thing is, if we get an energy off of this Kikui, we can just do it anyway.
We got a switch as well, so I think we hold the switch for Jirachi purposes later on.
Do you reckon? We can just switch and guarantee ourselves a knockout on something next turn.
Yeah, that's true. I don't think that's going to be a problem anyway, but...
Probably not, but I'm playing it.
Fair enough.
And then we'll just evolve the Dugtrio, I guess. It seems fine. And then Sledgehammer, bang.
And now we're down to 1 prize against Zoroark.
Yep, that seems pretty good.
This is a pretty bad matchup for them, as
we
predicted.
Yeah, exactly.
This deck beats Zoroark.
It certainly does, and Zoroark is one of, if not the best deck floating around at the moment, so we'll see what happens.
They've really got to figure out a way to deal with this Dugtrio, and it looks like Gooseberry inactive.
That's going to be the way to go.
Seems like a good strategy.
Well, that's okay, because we can just promote the Buzzwole and half hit.
I think we're better off promoting Jirachi here just because our hand is looking quite poor.
We do need to find a supporter as well as a rescue stretcher. Unfortunately, that Nest Ball isn't going to do the job for us. We can Brooklet Hill for nothing. So now it's time to swap the stadiums over, you reckon?
Yeah,
pop the Shrine down?
I think we might have a Diglett prize this game as the last prize card. From memory, there's only 3 Diglets in discard, so it's a little unfortunate. It's not the end of the world because we can either retreat and use another Stellar Wish or just settle for the 100 damage on the active Silvally.
Yeah, I don't think we want to settle for it because we do need to find our dudes. So what we're going to do here is we're going to Stellar Wish and try and get ourselves into a...
Guzma's not bad.
Yeah, Guzma's okay. That's fine.
Guzma might win the game.
I think Guzma does the job. Well, this Ditto here, does that have... yeah, that has about less than 1 million damage on it, so we can kill that. That seems fine.
It does. Look at that. Easiest win of the channel's history.
Best deck in format.
And
there it goes, there's the Diglett.
Diglett.
There is the Diglett. But hey, there you go. Well, I was wrong. It turns out that, yeah, you can do damage with it.
Look at that.
So much damage.
Have you ever completed a daily challenge in one game like that
before? I didn't realise we had
an
an evolution Pokemon one as well. That's Fighting Evolutions
This
too.
was the actual
It's the perfect deck for my daily challenges. But hey, we'll leave it there. We don't want to ride our luck for too long. It has been a short one, and it's been put up a little bit late, so we'll leave it at that one. But yeah, thanks Jordan for coming along and showing us this amazing deck.
I hope you're proud of me, Mitch.
It's very good. It's very, very good. I can say nothing but praise. And thanks everyone for watching. If you want to take this one down to your locals, then take Gardevoir instead. Gardevoir's better.
No, take Dugtrio.
Dugtrio. It's funny because Dugtrio actually would have completely crushed our cup yesterday.
I guess so.
It really, because there was no recieved, it was all PikaRom and Zoroark. It would have just destroyed everything.
I don't think Reshizard's that bad, because you pretty easily do 140 damage to it and just 2-hit them.
Yeah,
They outrage, but...
So there you go. Maybe this is worth playing down the track. Thanks everyone for coming along. We'll click that little subscribe button in the middle of the screen if you're liking the content. On the left is a video that YouTube thinks you might like, and on the right we have our Unbroken Bonds playlist. Thanks for coming along, and we'll see you all next time for more from the Sableyes. Bye.